Yeah, so our next segment here has to do with a trending news item.
Oh, boy.
And it's basically, we're going to be talking about Marvel's latest TV extravaganza, Echo.
Let's talk about beer for a minute. Because you know what I don't give a shit about? The next Marvel project. I'm sorry, guys. I'm checked out, man. I'm so checked out of Marvel. I've tried. I've been like, yeah, let's watch Loki and WandaVision and Captain America and all this bullshit that's come out. And it's so bad. I'm like, I'm out, dude.
Have you tried to rewatch anything recently? Like in the last 6 months, have you tried to like Marvel rewatch anything?
No.
I can't say for sure, but I do have a plan to roll out the Marvel MCU to my oldest son.
Okay.
Because he's at that age now where it's like prime.
Well, just don't go past phase
Endgame.
3.
Yeah. Once you get past Endgame, you're done. Like, just stop.
Yeah.
I did the same thing with my son.
Right.
He watches a lot of YouTube videos and they reference a lot of different stuff from pop culture. And they were referencing Loki. And I was like, do you know who Loki is? And he was like, yeah, he's the, like, and he knew who Loki was.
Like the real Loki, like God of Mischief from the Viking world?
He was like, he's the god of tricks. He was the trickster god of mischief. Roughly, he knew who he was. And I was like, oh, well, there's a show. Do you want to watch the show? And we got about, what are the shows, like 30 minutes, 40 minutes? Yeah. We got about 12 minutes in. He was like, I'm going upstairs.
So my understanding is Echo is a show based on a character that was introduced in Hawkeye, which was a show that nobody watched. And this chick, she can't hear.
So the actress,
is that it?
The actress herself is an amputee. She's missing a leg.
Oh.
And she's also deaf. And she's Native American.
Oh, my God.
The character in the comics was none of that. And her superpower in the comics was that she could mimic anyone's fighting style. And so she could go toe-to-toe with, like,
sounds great for an amputee.
Daredevil or, like, whatever.
You know what I have? I have some reservations for this.
That's a dad joke right there.
I have some reservations about this show. I just killed Jude. I can, and I did.
You know, for the past 4 years, we were like, we can't do our show live because we have to cut some shit out sometimes.
It is very funny, but you can't say
We're talking feather, not dot, right?
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. I just want to make sure.
Otherwise known as indigenous.
Indigenous.
Well, guys, it's been really nice knowing you. Thank you so much for supporting the show.
It's been a hell of a ride, folks.
Well, okay, so here's the thing about Echo.
Here's the thing about Echo.
So she was introduced in Hawkeye, which was a pretty good show.
That nobody watched.
I watched it. I
really?
enjoyed it, yeah. Well,
you did?
I watch everything Jeremy Renner's in. So, so she was kind of like this minor like gang member who was just really good at fighting. And then Marvel decided to give her her own show because they wanted to check all these boxes with
check
like
some boxes.
Yeah. She was so good at fighting.
So good.
But she's Native American. She's a woman. She's deaf. She's an amputee.
She's deaf too?
Yeah.
Wait, the actress is actually deaf?
How many
I thought you said the character was deaf.
How many
both are.
How many boxes does this check
All
does this check off?
All of them.
Wow. She's a lesbian? Is she a lesbian too?
99%.
Is it like questionable what she is? Oh my God.
She was dying.
She's like got every job in the universe. She's qualified for.
Especially with Disney.
So
like, you want to be the new Moana? Go for it.
This actress whose only other role had been in a high school play before she got cast in the Marvel.
What, like South Pacific or something?
Keep going.
So she was cast because number one, she's indigenous. Number two, she's actually deaf.
Perfect.
And they turned the character deaf because she was deaf. And she was also an amputee, so they had the character lose a leg to reflect the actual actress.
Jude's gonna lose his shit.
And they changed her superpower in the show because they said, the creators of the show said that the superpower of the comic book character she was based on was quote unquote lame.
I'm out.
I can't.
You can't say that.
She's blind, deaf, and this is Helen
Take
Keller.
your balloon.
It's Helen Keller, the series. Is that what it is?
Well, she's not blind.
Well, but she's an amputee. So,
She's just missing one of her legs.
What's one leg?
Yeah, one leg.
Judy okay? No, Jude's done. Jude's done.
Oh, Marvel, how far you've fallen.
So basically, they shot an 8-episode series based around this character.
There's only 5.
No. Originally, they shot an 8-episode series.
Okay.
It got greenlit.
And the people who made this show were so about the virtue signaling that the show was basically unwatchable.
Oh my God.
And during the strikes, Kevin Feige previewed this thing and said, "We can't release this."
Kevin Feige said that?
Yeah, Kevin Feige said that. He watched all 8 episodes and he was like, "This is the worst."
He was like, "Listen, I get to say
Jesus Christ.
So Kevin Feige's like, "We gotta." Well, they were trying to figure out what to do with it. Originally, they were like, "We can fix it in post. We can go in and like re-edit stuff."
Can you?
That's a Kadish answer. Well, we can fix it in post.
It's fine. It's fine, you guys.
But
we're very drunk. I'll fix it.
When they got into the editing room, they figured out that they needed to do reshoots. And so they reshot the entire series into a 5-episode season instead of a 8-episode season. And even then...
That'll fix it.
Yeah, chop it up even more.
It's fine now.
Does that trigger her if they chop things off and they're like,
Why would you say that?
Don't do that.
It's okay. She can't hear it.
I don't even know what to say about this show, man.
Well, I'm not done. So
I'm upset at myself.
Her superhero power is that she can mimic other people's powers.
that was the comic book version of her superpowers. They changed her superpowers in the TV show.
Okay.
I don't know what they changed.
Listen, the member stream is going to be legit. If you're not a member already, sign up because we're going to have some fun in a minute. Because we can say some shit that we can't say right now.
I can say more than I have reservations.
So they reshot the entire series, right? And then they decided that after they reshot everything,
The
whole thing,
Oh my God.
and because they were doing it on a reshoot budget, they could only do 5 episodes instead of 8. And even then, after they reshot the whole thing, they were like, "We couldn't fix this turd. This is still almost unreleasable." But what they did was they decided to drop it all at once to try to just get past it. So basically, tomorrow, all 5 episodes come out.
Oh, good. Tomorrow.
I'm not going to watch it.
I don't have Disney Plus anymore.
So
I can't remember the login for the studio.
yeah, so this character that no one cared about, nobody wanted a series about, is dropping the entire season all at once. It's the first time Disney Plus has done a binge model for a show.
Thank God.
Wait, hear me out.
Is it because she has an eating disorder?
She has an eating disorder.
What if
I think that's what I got out of
What
that.
if we watch all of it together?
Well, I mean, it's so
Is
like
it half-hour episodes?
Yeah.
So it's
half
it's
hour,
only 2 hours.
It's only 2 hours long.
Yeah.
We can watch all of it.
I don't know what.
2.5 hours long.
Jeez, we can watch the whole thing in 2 hours.
I'm sorry. He said binge drop, and I thought eating disorder.
She's binging and purging with her one leg
I'm crying so hard.
on the reservation.
Perfect.
I don't want it.
Oh my God.
So basically, everyone's expecting Echo to be terrible. But what Disney did that was very smart is they cut together a really, really good trailer for the show. And so when they released the trailer, everyone who was kind of poo-pooing it was like, well, maybe it's going to be good. But we have it on very good authority from people behind the scenes that like, yeah, the trailer's a 2-minute long lie about what the show's about.
Yeah.
It's like this trailer is actually pretty good, but what the actual show is not that great.
Yeah, and we hear that the way that she loses her leg in the show is absolutely ridiculous. We hear that it's mostly a very boring show, and nobody asked for this show. Nobody likes this character. They don't know why Marvel decided to move forward with it. But if you watch the promotional material from the people who made this show, like they're talking about having to check their hearing privilege in order to
hearing privilege
in order to make this show.
Podcasts are definitely not her format.
Yes, they learned to sign a couple of stuff because they wanted to.
Well, like legit, yeah. Like if you have to communicate with somebody who's deaf, you got to learn some sign language. That's fine.
It's not that. It's that they wanted to acknowledge that their hearing privilege, and so like they had to figure out how to communicate in ways other than speaking.
I can't. I want to do some things in this microphone right now that I just can't do.
Do it mentally.
My brain is saying, don't do it.
Members content.
Don't do it.
And
can't.
This is another Marvel TV show that was executive produced, show ran by a woman.
Oh,
wait.
Where'd you get that?
And as we know, like the last couple of big shows like She-Hulk and, like all these other shows
Perfect.
are being run by women.
Does
The Ray movie with Star Wars?
Echo twerk in this movie?
I don't think she does.
It would be empowering if she did.
She
with
should.
her one leg.
She really should.
But basically people are saying that there's like a scene where she gets her costume, which basically looks like very Native American.
Oh,
where she does like a bonfire dance or something.
a bonfire.
What?
So like
They really leaned into it, huh?
I don't know. I haven't seen it. But the thing is basically from everyone who got like the pre-release like review copies, they're basically saying that it's painfully stereotypical. It's painfully boring. And
Vader.
I already told him.
Stop
it.
His lip is twitching. Stop.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Vader.
I'm stopping right now.
But the review embargo went up to today. So basically Disney said, hey, critics, all of you who got the pre-release versions to review, you're not allowed to drop it until the day it premieres.
That's always a good sign.
Yeah. So everyone's expecting this to be a complete disaster for Disney. Disney's just hoping to move past it as quickly as possible.
They're going to not talk about it at all.
And this is coming off the heels of The Marvels, which was their biggest box office bomb to date.
Pretty smart. Let's put this show out after the biggest bomb in
originally
MCU
it was supposed
history.
to come out in December, and they had to push it back even further.
Listen.
I mean, I really, really did like the fantastic stuff that they put out with this fight that she has with Daredevil in this thing.
Yeah, that was another thing. They leaked
incredible.
the fight from Netflix's Daredevil.
It's
So like
bad.
she fights the Netflix version of Daredevil.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
dude.
Charlie Cox
so bad.
shows
Charlie
up.
Cox is in this show and he gets his ass kicked?
No.
No.
He doesn't get his ass kicked, but there's like a 2-minute long like one-shot action scene with her. And they leaked it on the internet to kind of build up some buzz because a lot of people are saying like, oh, it's the best action scene in the series. But like when you actually break it down bit by bit, it's one of the worst choreographed action scenes you've ever seen.
If you guys go back on YouTube and you look at like a Nerdrotic, he did a show with an X-Ray Girl and I think it was Mahler maybe or Drinker. I'm not sure.
It's Mahler and Az.
And they did it in slow motion.
For the Daredevil fight?
With the Daredevil fight. And it makes the scene
so much worse
from Star Wars look like where Rey and Kylo Ren fought the guys.
I'm very familiar, yeah.
It makes that scene look it's out there and it's bad. And it's just this
it's one of those things where like you'll see them throw a punch and they'll miss by like this much.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And then the person like reacts.
Mr. Tickle Trunk says it was from last week's real BBC stream.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
But we fully expect Echo to be a complete disaster, and chances are they'll move on. But what's crazy about it is that the next Marvel show to come out is scheduled to be Agatha.
Oh God, it's insane how poorly they're being managed over there. It's crazy.
Yeah, like taking two obscure characters nobody cares about and giving them their own TV show.
It's almost like they have these things that they need to put out. So let's just get it out and move on. I mean, that's kind of what I'm feeling, right? Is that wrong or?
No, like when there's a review embargo that goes right up to the date of release, basically that means that they're trying to prevent preemptive damage of bad word of mouth. But it is kind of funny because basically, like, from all accounts, the show was unreleasable before the reshoots. And even then, the reshoots sound bad. And all the marketing of this is based around Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin, who's a character people actually care about.
Yeah.
But apparently he doesn't have like a huge role in the show. Neither does Daredevil. Like, I think he has that one fight scene.
You know what would have been a cool show for them, for Disney Plus, for Marvel to do, is they should have done a 8-episode, 45, 50-minute per episode show about Kingpin. Because they did him wrong in that last whatever show that was. It was the
Hawkeye.
It was the Hawkeye show, and they need that character to be like the Thanos of the.
They're trying to present him as the Thanos of the street level,
right?
Yeah.
And if they would have done like a Kingpin series or something like that,
dude,
instead of this bullshit, that would have been, because Vincent D'Onofrio
is awesome as that character.
As Kingpin,
dude, savage. Yeah, I love him.
And But they don't want to do what people actually want to see. They want to see this virtue signaling fucking amputee death bullshit. It's nonsense.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But it's funny when you see Vincent D'Onofrio being interviewed for like the press junket. He's like, yeah, I'm an actor and my job is to take the script that's given to me and make it work.
Sure, man. Keep it up.
Yeah. Just like, I don't understand their
Listen,
choices.
they're doing press for these people. They're getting paid by these people. They're not going to talk trash. I mean, that's like a taboo.
I mean,
is that not true though?
No,
you're an actor.
Paid,
you get a script, and this is in your contract. You have to go do press for it.
But the implication was that the scripts were all bad, and so he tried to do his best to make them not as bad.
Right.
Fair enough.
I totally get that. But man, the people in charge of these IPs of these things, they need to start making better decisions.
No, they need to be fired.
They do. They need to be.
They need to be like. I know I've watched a bunch of different YouTube channels about like what's happening with Disney and the management style and all this other stuff and Star Wars and Marvel, and it's all going to hell. It's not going to change until the whole thing is rooted out and replaced with people who are just good at their job.
But they're not going to do it.
It's not going to happen.
We got fucking the Mandalorian coming in as Fantastic Four. What's that guy's name?
Pedro Pascal
is coming in as Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah.
They're not learning. They're doubling down.
They're doubling down, and they're going to keep doing it until they all get fired and then get replaced.
It's insane.
So when I start seeing heads, metaphorically, when I start seeing heads roll at Lucasfilm, then I'll be like, oh, looks like they're going to make some changes. Until then, it's all going to be the same.
I would really like to have a Disney Plus subscription. But I can't.
The only reason I do is because they have an Australian show on there called Bluey,
if
and it's awesome.
we need to make just a salty nerd Disney account so we can just watch the shit.
I think we have one, but anyway, or like other people need to follow the steps of Rippaverse and start making their own stuff.
Their own shit,
just start making your own stuff because they're not learning and they're not going to change.
Yeah,
and it doesn't matter if you have the budget. Doesn't matter if you're good at what you do and you have a story to tell that's going to be awesome and people want to hear it, make it. Like we need another round of like the Scorseses and the Spielbergs and just going out there guerrilla style making movies.
Yeah.
Like those guys went against the grain. They didn't do the studio thing. They didn't do the thing everybody else did. And they made awesome freaking movies.
I used to think I would like the whole universe building style of filmmaking.
It's good up to a point.
But I'm kind of over it now.
Yeah.
It's
because,
like,
it got overused.
Because
then
really
DC was like, well, we need to do the same
thing.
We
got the John Wick universe. We got this universe.
Just calm down. Just make a good movie. Yeah.
Powderpuff Girls universe. And it's just like,
first of all, it's Powerpuff.
Powerpuff. Yeah. I'm drinking
Like,
vodka.
you do not talk shit about Bubbles, okay?